It invokes the very stark reality of the nature of evil of the enemy. And there's a big difference between sort of moderate Muslims and those I served with and served alongside, and the reality of this jihadist terrorist group seeking to establish an Islamic caliphate. It's good to see Saudi Arabia and others rejecting it. We need to reject that forcefully, but we need to accept and understand the goals of this group. This is no longer just a terrorist group like Al-Qaeda. This is way beyond Al-Qaeda. This is a caliphate state that purports to represent Muslims around the world and is drawing from around the world.
No greater time than for the president to step up to that podium today and detail a long-term strategy, because that is exactly what we have been lacking all along the way.
Sandra, in the video, the man in black there speaks directly to President Obama and says his name. You know, you and I were talking after we watched this morning about the fact that this is horrible, and this is an American, but they do this to people every day. They did this to the Yazidis as they were moving up on that mountaintop before we got there with our firepower, right?
They're doing this to Christians. They're doing this to Yazidis. Yazidi women in prisons today being forcibly married and raped. This is ongoing. This is an American journalist, so it gets attention. Men and women and children, Muslims, Christians, Yazidis, and others are beheaded on a daily basis by this group.
And they've been doing this for hundreds and hundreds of years. If you study the history of Islam, our ship captains were getting murdered. The French had to tip us off. I mean, these are the days of Thomas Jefferson. They've been doing the same thing. This isn't a surprise. You can't solve it with a dialogue. You can't solve it with a summit. You solve it with a bullet to the head. It's the only thing these people understand. And all we've heard from this president is a case to heap praise on the religion, as if to appease them. His Cairo speech, his remarks from last Memorial Day, saying that we have a shared history of tolerance, instead of making the case against this threat that is never going to stop. He knows it's only growing. At the same time, Sandra, he said Al-Qaeda is in retreat. He has been wrong about this threat. He hasn't just ignored it. He has been fundamentally wrong.
Do you have any hope, Andrea, that this is a tipping point? That we could see a change from the president?
When you see an American journalist beheaded, I don't see how at this point he can continue with his rhetoric.